Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Black Ops 4 In Depth. In today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing the Paladin HB50, the big boy in the sniper rifle group in Black Ops 4, and thankfully this is one of the guns that I have fun using. The base damage for the Paladin is 140, same as all the other sniper rifles. For such a heavy weapon, you would expect it to deal more damage, but they've got most of the sniper rifles at this same base. The body multipliers is where this really matters, and like the last episode, since there's a lot of combinations of armor and 200 HP, I'm going to try to go through this as quickly as possible with some sanity intact. So if you're using the base Paladin, it gets one-shot kills in the head, neck, and upper chest. Oddly, the torso and groin and stuff don't get any one-shot kills, and this is identical to the Koshka. So the regular Koshka and the Paladin perform very, very similarly. If you're using a Paladin versus armor, it has the exact same one-shot kill area. Surprisingly, armor didn't seem to make any difference. And if you're using Paladin versus a 200 HP person that's been healed by Crash in multiplayer, you will only get a kill in the head or neck. The upper chest will not grant you a one-shot kill, surprisingly. Didn't think that the 200 HP would make that big a difference, but it definitely does. Now, let's move on to the Paladin with High Caliber 2. I'm only going to do High Caliber 2 because really that's where you want to go with this gun. That gets you the most one-shot areas, and anybody that levels this gun is going straight for High Caliber 2, so doing a whole new series on 1 is a little bit unnecessary. But the Paladin with High Caliber 2 can one-shot kill to the head, neck, upper chest, torso, that's abs we'll call it, groin, your upper thighs, which is probably just above the knee all the way up to the testicular region, and your hands, arms, and shoulders. So there are a lot of one-shot kill areas, and it's pretty much a one-shot kill over the entire body, except about knees down, it's going to start needing 2 shots to kill. If you're running with Paladin High Caliber 2 and you run into an armor user, it's almost the same, except the thigh shots will not grant you the one-shot kill. You'll have to actually hit them in the body, even upper body, including the hands and arms and stuff, but just not in the legs. Now, if you're running Paladin High Caliber and you come into contact with a person that has 200 health, it's the head, neck, chest, torso, and groin. The hands and legs don't count, so pretty much center mass only is the only thing that's going to kill a 200 HP user, and it's pretty much the same when you're going for High Caliber 2 versus armor plus 200 HP. The armor just doesn't seem to make any difference on this sniper rifle, which is a surprising fact to me, and that means that running FMJ for the purpose of busting through armor or dealing more damage to armored users is not very practical. And it's really strange to think that 200 HP is a bigger problem than armor for sniper rifles, because armor is what most people are complaining about. So basically the one-shot kill areas are the center mass as long as you're running High Caliber 2, which is where most people are, and that's where all of my gameplay is here today. Rate of fire is 44 rounds per minute. This is bolt action, so if you sprint off, you will still have to rechamber a round. And this is relatively normal for Call of Duty, but still slow overall. It's not a fast-firing weapon, just a little bit slower than the Koshka. You're not going to be able to spam with it. You'll have to take a little bit of time with your shots. Aim down sights time is the slowest in the sniper rifle class at 400 milliseconds. That is a good bit slower than the Koshka and way slower than the Koshka or Outlaw if you're running quick draw on either of those weapons, or SDM for that matter. So kind of slow on that front. Reload time is the same as the Koshka at 2.07 though, which is a little surprising. I thought it would have a unique reload time, but it's identical in that respect as well. And I dislike the look of the default sniper rifle scope. I don't like the shape of the scope or the mil dots or anything about it. I find it hard to lead people in blackout, but I still prefer using it over the lower zoom sights. Both in blackout and in multiplayer, I really like the long range sights on the Paladin, because the Paladin is the weapon that I'm really using to snipe people with. This isn't my quick scoping weapon. This isn't my, small map sniper rifle. This is my cross map world star you in the face weapon. So the long range sights are definitely the way to go in my opinion. One of the more unique attachments that I personally didn't use, since I can just hold my breath, is the stabilizer. The stabilizer reduces idle sway just a ton, a lot. You can see the comparison on the screen between with and without stabilizer. It's just absolutely night and day. If you're struggling with idle sway, if you're struggling to hit your shots, the stabilizer is a very good choice. Stabilizer 2 is very nice because it gives you almost infinite hold breath time. It doubles your base hold breath time, and you can recover almost instantly. The shake is literally one breath and then you're back to stable, so almost not an interruption. Stabilizer 2 is very strong in that respect, though personally I don't run either of them because I find it easier to just hold my breath temporarily, snipe, let go, and move on. I think the more accurate of a sniper you are, the less likely you will be to use stabilizer, and the more you struggle, the more stabilizer will help you. The sight loader is an interesting attachment. It allows you to reload while aiming down sights. I'm not sure why anybody would use this. I guess if you really want to be able to track targets while reloading, it sort of makes it to where you don't have to unzoom, but it's not worth a create a class point for me to be able to aim down sights and reload my gun. I would just rather un-ADS, reload real quick, and zoom right back in. It's not that big of a difference. One thing that is a really big difference, though, is FMJ2. FMJ2 is hilariously strong at shooting down score streaks. FMJ2 will shoot down CUAVs and UAVs in one shot. Helicopters of any kind go down in 5 shots. Mantis, I believe, is 5 shots as well. The Safeguard robot, FMJ2 just chews through streaks. It chews through all of Torque's nonsense that he plants all over the map. Of course, it negates armor, which is nice, but it turns all the walls into paper, essentially, so you can wallbang people anywhere. FMJ2, in my opinion, is a very strong attachment, though I will add a caveat that it's probably not point efficient. In order to add FMJ2, you will most likely have to use a primary gunfighter point and then a point for that attachment itself, whereas it may be cheaper to just use one point and run with a secondary rocket launcher to shoot stuff down. Though FMJ2 is nice. It's fun, it boosts the gun, but it may not be the most efficient boost. In my opinion, the Paladin is the sniper rifle for actual sniping in Call of Duty. If you actually want to sit in the back of the map and pick people off, if you want to get one-shot kills in Blackout, if you want to actually pretend you're a tactical warrior and hang out in your ghillie suit in the back of the map and pick people off, that's the Paladin. The other sniper rifles in Call of Duty, especially in this one, are more geared around speed, but the Paladin is not. This one is all about high damage and wallbangs. If it were like a Skyrim create a character, it would have all of its points just maxed out in damage and just terrible in everything else. The weapon is all about running high caliber 2 and FMJ2 and getting one-shot kills and taking down streaks and shooting through walls and just chewing up anything on the map. In my opinion, it's best with the default scope and high caliber 1 and 2 and FMJ 1 and 2. We're just going to go ahead and continue to boost that damage and just maximize it as high as possible to get you the most amount of one-shot kills, and I think that's how most people run the weapon in multiplayer already. The Paladin is also very strong in Blackout, but only if you're going for headshots. It is sort of a contentious love-hate weapon for me. On the plus side, it is the only sniper rifle that can one-shot a 200 HP enemy. But it still has overall low DPS, so if you're not shooting people in the head, or you're not shooting people that are, really highly armored, then the Koshka, the SDM, and the Outlaw will all perform better because they can aim down sights faster, reload faster, shoot faster, rechamber faster. They can just do everything faster and put a lot more damage downstream over time, whereas this one is really a one and done. It's an all-in for headshots or bust because it can take several body shots to kill somebody, which we'll talk about in a second. One of the unique things about it in Blackout is that it is the only sniper rifle to use 50 caliber ammo, which has better overall ballistics. The 50 caliber ammo type in Call of Duty Blackout has the fastest projectile travel speed and the least amount of bullet drop. If you go ahead and put long barrel on there, it's pretty much a laser all the way out to about 200 meters. I really don't have to lead the Paladin very much. I mean, if I'm really leading the Paladin to get my shot, I'm going for like world record snipes here. And I will say that it can be very frustrating to use against level 3 armor players, because if you're shooting somebody in the body with level 3 armor, it could take 3 uninterrupted shots to kill them, and that's if they don't heal in between your shots. They'll probably heal their armor too. Even when they're downed, it can take several shots. If you're hitting people in the body, if they have level 2 or 3 armor, it'll feel like the Paladin is a frustrating hit marker machine. It really needs to be for headshot only to get your best value off of it, but I don't always do that because I can't always guarantee the headshot, and I think, well, maybe I'll just get a nice chunky body shot and call it a day. So it can get frustrating, but go for the head, and I think it'll pay off. Guys, that is all for this episode of In Depth. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.